Here's an extra special episode of Family Twist Podcast. It's just Corey. Well, not just Corey. Corey is here with Kendall's sister, Stephanie, who you have met on the podcast before. And we are on vacation in New York City. Kendall was supposed to come, but a last-minute change had to happen, and I'm filling in. I apologize that Kendall's not here, y'all, that it's just me. But I will let our other guests introduce themselves so you know whose voice is whose.
I'm Liz. I'm BJ. I'm Allison.
Welcome, ladies. So these four are nurses from Arkansas.
What kind of nurses?
NICU nurses, which I can't even fathom the kind of work that you do. It's difficult. I'm sure it's stressful, traumatic. Let's talk a little bit about that, actually. It's really interesting work that a lot of people don't know about.
This is Stephanie. We take care of the smallest babies, delivered at the smallest gestational age, and it's a very intense job. It's very rewarding to see these babies and their families go through the whole NICU experience, and these babies thrive. And a lot of times we're able to follow them, through social media or a NICU reunion. And yeah, it's just a really rewarding job. And then you get to meet other great nurses, and they become your second family.
Real quick, what are NICU reunions?
So that's where our little NICU babies that are born, their families will bring them back after they're discharged and then come back. We have what's called a NICU reunion at the hospital, and it's usually yearly. We get to see them, and we have all kinds of activities for them and visit with the families.
Just little babies thriving?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
So just so everybody understands what we mean by preemies, so a full-term baby is 40 weeks. So that means they went 40 weeks pregnant with the baby. And we have the privilege of taking care of babies who are as young as 22 weeks. So you're talking 18 weeks early, almost halfway through the pregnancy. We are delivering babies at that gestation and trying to save them and help them to thrive. We also take care of babies who are full term and are sick. We get big babies, we get little babies. And in my experience, the smallest baby I've ever taken care of is 12 ounces. What about you, Liz?
I would say I probably had one a little bit bigger than that, so maybe 14.
Not even a pound.
Not even a pound.
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
This is Allison. I think mine was about 12 ounces, was the smallest I'd ever taken care of.
How do you even hold a 12-ounce baby?
You don't hold them.
You don't?
They stay in their little isolates. We keep the isolate real humid. So like 80% humidity is inside of that bed, and that helps protect their skin. That helps with lungs and all different kinds of things. And so we leave them in there, and they usually will even have a plastic wrap on top of them to keep all the warmth and everything inside as much as we can.
How does a baby that small get nutrition?
Through IVs.
That makes sense.
And then after a few days, we'll feed them tiny little, not even a teaspoon, like maybe even a fifth of a teaspoon. So a teaspoon is 5 mils or 5 cc's. And so we might even give them 1 meal every 6 hours.
Wow.
Just to start out.
Yeah, and so the IV that we use is very interesting because we actually put it in their belly button. Like we put where your belly button would go. So because those babies are so fragile, you can't just thread a IV catheter in. What the doctors are able to do is they're able to thread a catheter into the vein and then a catheter into the artery. So we're able to put nutrition in and take blood out.
So really like where the lifeblood had started with a child.
Absolutely.
It continues on there.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's fascinating. Wow. What drew you all to this type of nursing?
I think it takes a special nurse to be a NICU nurse. We get such fulfillment out of what we do for these babies and for their families, because a lot of times these moms, they've never experienced this. And so we are their comfort. And you're not just taking care of the baby, you're taking care of the family. And it's extremely rewarding. You develop relationships with these people that a lot of times last a lifetime. Like I was just in Idaho and precious family and made a connection with them. And I was only there for 22 weeks. So I thought I would miss out on those connections doing travel nursing, but you don't. You just develop a bond with the family, and those bonds, they can last a lifetime. And it's so rewarding to be a part of that family and to help them along their baby's journey in life.
I can tell you from my personal experience, 25 years ago, I had twins that were 25 weeks. And I was just a kid. I was 19 years old, newly married. And we had these two tiny 1 pound, 13 ounce babies. And what I remember and what made me want to become a NICU nurse was that they treated me like I was a mom. They didn't treat me like I was a stupid kid that didn't know what I was doing. I wanted my kids. And even though we were young, we still wanted to be parents. The whole process, I've been able to really connect with families in a way that not everybody gets to, because I've had premature babies. And so I remember being the parent, and I've never forgotten that. And so I feel like my interactions with families can be what it needs to be for them. They need to know that someone understands, because it's a different kind of medical condition. It's not like anything else. There's not really a lot of conditions aside from maybe cancer or something, fatal, that you're in the hospital for up to 3, 4, 6 months. It's a long-term situation.
Sometimes a year.
Sometimes, even a year or more, trying to help those babies. So for me, just being a mom, and I was a NICU mom way before I was a NICU nurse.
And you were also born early, too.
I was also born
You
early,
were a
yep.
preemie also.
Yeah, I was a preemie also. Yeah.
How early were you?
I was 25 weeks.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
I was a product of domestic violence, and my dad hit my mom in the stomach with a cast iron skillet, and she went to the hospital bleeding profusely. They told her the baby was gone. They told her that the baby died, and so she was in a little triage room in the emergency room, and I came out, and I don't know how they saved me. I mean, that was in the 70s. I don't know how I got nutrition. I don't know how I got any of the things that we are able to provide for our babies now. But yeah, so it's just been different circumstances. But I mean, I kind of owe it to the NICU nurses and doctors that took care of me.
Well, I know that when Kendall and I found out what Stephanie did for a living, we were just like, wow. It takes a special person to be able to do what y'all do. Much respect, much love. I know it can't be easy because you go through the joys, but you also go through the tragedies.
There are days that you're like, why am I doing this? It's tough. It's really tough.
All about the babies.
It is, though, and that's the end game. And for me, I've just always loved like labor and delivery and babies. And then after a year of doing labor and delivery, I want to do babies, and so I did, and I absolutely love it. And then I ended up having a preemie. My youngest was 2 months early, but my oldest, who's 20, was born 4 weeks early, but only weighed 4 pounds.
Part of this podcast is Kendall's journey, and anyone who's been listening knows that Kendall found Stephanie on his mom's side, and they're like 2 peas in a pod. But I'm just curious, so how y'all met Stephanie and what your first impressions were.
It's kind of crazy how I met Stephanie. She actually worked at a clinic that I took my twin girls to when they were babies, and then we started working together at the same hospital several years down the road later. And I mean, I just remembered Stephanie whenever she was our favorite nurse in the clinic when we would take our twins there. And then when I saw her at the hospital that we worked at together, I was so excited that I was getting to be a coworker with her.
And I remember Liz's face, because when she would bring in her twin daughters, I would always say they are the cutest because they were like doll babies. And as soon as I seen Liz at the hospital, I recognized who she was. And she's a fabulous mom to her girl. Yeah, and we've become really, really, really good friends. And well, all of us have. But I think with nursing, you develop such strong connections with these nurses, and they are truly, truly your second family. And especially when we went through COVID, like we were in that hospital together, and I felt like no one knew what we were going through besides each other, because when I walked outside of the hospital doors, it was a different world. When I was in the hospital, I was with my nurses and my medical family, and we had each other. We knew what we were going through. and as soon as you walk out the doors, it's completely different.
BJ, how did you meet Stephanie?
I am going to be really sappy and just say that I do not remember my life without Stephanie in it.
Oh.
I just don't. I love her so much, and she's definitely been a source of comfort for me, and we've been through some really hard times, just thankfully not at the same time. She's had to hold me up, and I've had to hold her up. So I honestly don't even know how we met. I just know that she's just always been my friend.
Allison, can you top that?
I was gonna say I would like to touch a little bit about what she said about COVID and kind of our trauma bond that we have together after crying and being so upset at home and about our circumstances and trying to make sure everybody had water between our group of friends and toilet paper and just, kind of the most mundane things. But during that time period, in the hospital, they basically banned dads and they banned any other family members. So for us, we had to be support people not only to each other, but to the moms when they had their babies. During that time period, there were weeks that dads saw babies born and that was it. And so we were the support people trying to keep it together for ourselves and our friends and for those moms. One mom that I can think of has been such a friend because we had to be that for them and we had to be that support to keep them sane and to celebrate all the moments that the dads weren't even able to be there.
All right, Allison, chime on in.
Okay, I'm going to just ask for forgiveness first, okay?
Oh, no.
That's all you got to do. That's what I do.
I don't remember. I've just known you worked there for so long.
Yeah.
And I remember, you were always super sweet, but we never, we weren't, super, we were just coworkers more than anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I remember you were pregnant with Oliver, and I was like, oh, my uncle always teased me that I was going to name, if Olivia came out a boy, he said, well, you need to name it Oliver. And so I always remember that.
If I were going to have a girl, I was going to name my girl Olivia.
Really? Yeah, I've loved working with you, and you were always so sweet and helpful, and just
didn't make you feel intimidated.
No, not at all.
Yeah, all of you guys are such strong nurses, and I think that's why I'm drawn to you because in our unit's huge, and the strong nurses are the ones you really depend on those days that are bad days, and you guys were great friends. And I think a lot of that has to do with our work ethic and our love and our passion for these babies.
Mm-hmm. And that's obvious that we love our babies and we
love
love our families. While I was traveling out in California, I was worried about the same thing. I'm like, well, I'm not going to get to develop those bonds with those families because I won't be there. But I was at my unit for 6 months, and this one night, this mom was like, her baby got sick overnight, and she said, I called her in the morning and I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know this is what happened and your baby's okay, but, blah, blah, blah. And she went, Allison, she was like, thank God you were there. And I was like, it just made me feel like, okay, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I need to do. And I sent him home right the day I left. He went home.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was fabulous. I love it.
So I found out about less than 2 weeks ago that I was going to be on this trip. I put it out on Facebook to some of my family and friends that are nurses, and I knew it was going to be great, but it was just like in tongue-in-cheek, like, all right, I'm going to New York City with 4 nurses. What should I expect? And they gave me the best answers. It was so great. I love them all. I shout them out. My Aunt Lisa, Anne, who was my prom date, and who one of the first people that I woke up to when I had spinal meningitis in the hospital. And Sandy and Dawn, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple people, but you're all wonderful. And I knew this was going to be a really, really fun trip, especially, if these are friends of Stephanie's, then I knew that they were going to be instantly friends of mine. Aww. But like we just hit the ground running.
Yeah, we did.
We hit the ground running. We're only on day 1.5 right now.
Oh my god!
And it's been
fabulous.
Oh my
Something
gosh.
every hour.
We laughed so hard last night, just sitting around talking and playing a game. It's like we've known each other for forever.
Absolutely.
And this is something that Kendall and I talk about often because we've moved around so much. And when you get to a certain age, it's like it's hard to meet new friends.
Yes.
You know, because unless you're working with them or whatever, you know, like we have wonderful friends in the Bay Area. We haven't made as many friends in New England. I just feel like I got 3 new fantastic friends
and visit us.
from Arkansas for life. And like and Kendall and I are big on chosen family, and y'all are family. Y'all are family. I mean, I'm not kidding, everybody. We have bonded like hardcore in like less than 36 hours. This has been like, I just don't even know what to say.
You're so easy to get along
You
with.
are
You're
so
easygoing.
easygoing.
So sweet and just easy.
And easy to talk to.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
you
I
just talk
just-
to everyone.
I
and you
love
just-
people. No,
You
you
meet people.
talk to everyone else.
Excuse me, Allison's gotten 2 marriage proposals on this trip.
I just got one.
1.5. Let's say 1.5.
1.5.
But here's the thing, okay? If you, and this is for folks who want to travel to New York City, because sometimes, you know, people in New York aren't the most friendly. Go to New York with nurses from Arkansas who have that Arkansas accent, because
And
immediately, and smile big, because you're going to have friends everywhere you go. We have met
And then 9/11 Memorial.
everywhere we've gone today. We've just like struck up conversations with people.
It's Allison,
Locals.
too. She
Locals.
makes them talk.
Oh,
yeah.
And I love it.
She pulls it out of them.
It's
I'm gonna make you talk. You're gonna talk to me.
I love that she like does this questionnaire. Like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just trying to drive us home.
Yes.
Like they don't.
Oh.
They're not even trying. But she's like, okay, where do you live? What do you do for a
What do you
living?
do? Where are you from?
Where are you from? How long have you lived here?
Are you married? Do you have
Do you have
kids?
children? Where are they?
I feel like you have made the Uber driver's night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are so tickled and laughing and just smiling.
I mean, you just have this light about you that is just infectious, and I think that's.
And you make people comfortable.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
so comfortable.
You're easy to talk to too.
Absolutely, and you care, and your
And
demeanor
I
and the way you
genuinely
come
do care,
across
yeah.
is very like you really care about people, and that really shows no matter where you go. For sure.
Thank you.
And that's another thing I want to bring up. This group of girls, very compassionate, good human beings.
Oh.
I mean,
Well, let me tell y'all. I mean, if you've listened to this podcast, you know how liberal and progressive Kendall and I are. But
We don't either.
these ladies are amazing. And I think it's because you've been exposed to people at their extreme trauma and desperation. And I love the fact that you're willing to get out there in the world and see new cultures and appreciate it. I mean, like, I can't say enough about just like, I'm just so impressed by how open you all are and how giving you all are. I mean, this is just, this has been a gift. This is a gift.
You're welcome.
BJ and I had an adventure today. Like, I'm gonna have to see you a couple times a year.
Absolutely.
We're
everyone
gonna.
needs a BJ in their life.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Not that kind of stuff.
Well, both kinds. Both kinds.
True. Not the first time I've
Both
heard
kinds.
that.
Hilarious. Oh my god.
So I do feel a little bit bad for Kendall because he wasn't able to come on this trip. So Steph, can you just talk a little bit about how your relationship has developed over the last 5-6 years with your brother?
So yeah, first off, I feel like we favor and we look alike. But there was an instant bond. I've said this before. There was just an instant bond, and it kind of blows my mind that I haven't known him my whole life because I feel like I have. There was an immediate sense of
13 years.
easiness and comfort with him, and it just continued to grow. Like we take vacations together, and we talk frequently, and he's just incredibly easy to love. And he has, like, one of the biggest blessings in my life is knowing that he's my brother. You know, we're just tight. Like it's easy to love Kendall, and I'm very fortunate.
It's
That's so sweet.
and sometimes I have to remind him because we moved from the Bay Area to New England to be around Kendall's birth father's family, which has been wonderful. But New England is not the Bay Area, right?
Absolutely.
Right, Allison? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we struggle, especially this time of year when it's like the snow's about to start falling.
Oh.
But I remind Kendall often, I'm like, look, you hit the jackpot with Stephanie. You two seconds into a phone conversation, it's like you've known each other
Yeah.
since you were babies.
We're tight. I mean,
Yes.
we're tight like that.
Yes. And something that I know that I've always longed for, because I'm the oldest, is a big sister. And I've sought that out like professionally, I just
Yeah.
tend to bond with somebody who's a few years older than me at whatever job I'm at. But it's so wonderful to
Yeah.
have you, Stephanie.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know, I just always wanted that big sister,
You guys have been great. I mean,
Mm.
you've enriched my life, and I want to grow old with you guys.
Yeah, I know. We will.
Yeah.
Can I join?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yes.
My big goal was to build a commune in California with a lot of little houses where everybody, and then one big gathering place where we all get together on Sundays and cook together, and
Oh my god.
that is
our lunch
that is my
today.
dream.
Like our family lunch today.
Yes, exactly.
That's the way it should be.
That's my dream.
100%.
That is my dream.
I would come in a heartbeat. I
Yeah.
would totally be there.
And adopt all the dogs.
Every dog, every homeless dog in California
Yes.
is welcome on the commune. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Something I think is interesting is that, even though we're all different people and came from different circumstances, I think we try even harder to make sure that people feel accepted and loved, because we've, at some point or another in our lives, not felt that way towards
Yes.
people, towards ourselves.
Yes.
And so when you talk about chosen family, I mean, that just rings true with me so much, because, I had to, in my personal life, had to light a match and walk away, and I have no regrets. But, I don't ever want someone else to feel that way.
Right.
We've all been through things in our lives, and me personally, I mean, I dealt with not wanting to be alive at one point in my life, and it affected me in such a way that I never want someone else to feel that way.
Right.
And so I've tried to be a support person for anyone who is different or sad, or I want people to know they matter,
Yes.
because I know I felt like I didn't matter
Yeah.
at one point. And so that chosen family is not about who can give you anything. It's that bond that we have of, I see you
Yes.
and you matter. And I think it's not about gifts. It's not about we have to talk every day. It's, I got you. And when you're not saying something, I know something's wrong. Or,
Right. Yeah.
because we can have a great time. We laugh, we have a wonderful time. But I mean, like I said, we've all been through things that have made us need to reach out to other people.
Absolutely. Well, they say blood is thicker than water, but we all have blood running through our veins, and who we find as family is family, and it's I don't think those, just because you might be quote unquote blood related, doesn't necessarily make those bonds any stronger than the people we find.
That's true.
I'll go maybe 4 or 5 days, and I'll just get a random text from BJ. Hey, thinking about you. And it's just, I know she's always there, as well as Allison
Yeah.
and Liz, but I mean, I don't get that from some members of my family,
Right.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Right.
And when I went out to Idaho, there were certain people in my life that checked on me. They would text me. They would call me and say, hey, how are you doing? How's it going out there? I'm here if you need me. My friends did that for me.
Yeah.
My husband did that for me.
Right.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
You're in a different state by yourself. You want to know that people that you care about are caring about you and thinking about you and want to know that you're okay.
I think sometimes as adults, people just think that we've got it all figured out and we're all okay, and we're all just still I don't know about y'all, but I still I stopped growing at 16, and I'm still a kid in my brain, and we want that validation and that that's that thing.
To know that
Oh,
we
yeah.
matter.
That we matter, that someone cares that we
Yes.
woke up this morning.
And BJ and I found out together that we are both teenagers
Yes, we are.
and our little adventure together.
Yes, we did.
I mean, I think there's something special about the words loved ones
Oh,
because it just says it all. It doesn't have to be blood relation.
absolutely not.
It's those that are dear to our hearts that we are go-tos, you know, our ride or dies.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a true gift to see the four of you and your friendship, and then that how quickly we bonded, like within a matter of minutes.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, I'm not married, and so I'm the only one not married.
I'm
Although
not
I
married.
have fun on the side, but I'm not married.
That's all right.
But it's been hard not having that constant support person with me, or
Yeah.
like at least all
Right.
the time
Right.
checking on me or something. And so I could always count on my friends to check on me, and that meant a lot because
Yeah.
when I started traveling, it was horrible. It was very hard. I mean, no one prepares you for that. Like, it was so lonely. This is horrible. Like, I left my job of 23 years and did this. Like, oh my gosh, what am I thinking? I'm all the way away from my family and my kids. But it was the best thing I could have ever done. But, you know, just having my friends be there and check on me. And I've learned that my closest people in my life are not blood related.
Right. Yeah.
And
super, super brave of y'all for going out and traveling and going to the unknown and the adventures that you've had. It's amazing.
And I just want to say, as a nurse, it is amazing. Once you get out there and you do it, you're empowered. You feel independent.
Absolutely.
And you literally feel like you can do anything.
Absolutely.
Like, I miss my husband and my son tremendously. It's been great. Like, this experience has been great for me professionally, growing in my profession, and just believing in myself, believing that I can go anywhere and do anything as a nurse.
You are
Yeah.
a great nurse, and that's what I learned. I'm like, I am
I
a
can do
damn
this.
good nurse, and
Yeah.
I can work anywhere. I can do it,
Yes.
and I loved it. Like, it's still lonely. I still
Yeah.
get lonely at times,
Yeah.
but I never regret it whatsoever. It has been the best 7-8 months of my life.
And you get to see amazing places, and you
Yes.
get to meet
People.
people.
Yes.
Like, I made friends in Idaho
Absolutely.
that will be my friends forever.
And think about this for a second, y'all. You know, I'm from Missouri. Y'all are from Arkansas, so practically the same.
Yeah.
Think about all the people that we know that never leave their backyard.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
what's heartbreaking because I'm
That
from a
is
small
heartbreaking.
town, and my dad and
I am
one of my
too.
brothers never left, and they are
And not even to
Very
some people not
close-minded.
even to travel, not even to go on a vacation.
no, they're just closed-minded, and I'm
and what
just-
they're missing.
Oh my god!
Well, here we are sitting. I've never been to New York City.
Me
Nope.
neither.
We're
Nope,
here
none
in
of
New
us.
York City
Well,
at
Corey
Christmas
has.
time.
And
Incredible.
tearing it up.
Yes.
Thriving in New York
Yes.
City. We're not flowers on the wall.
No.
We're just,
riding the subway.
Oh my
okay?
goodness. and meeting people on every subway ride. It's like we're owning the city.
That's right.
That's right.
It's, you know,
It's like
it's-
we've been here a million times.
Well, except for this morning, we had to check a couple of subways.
Oh, that's all. I mean, come on. Even the people
irrelevant.
that just move here and live here, they're going to make a couple of wrong turns on the subway. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I feel sorry for the people who don't
I do too.
just
Me too.
power up and get out there and see
Yeah.
the country, you know,
Yeah.
see the world.
I think people just take it for granted sometimes that they're gonna just always be around. And I know for me, I felt like if I don't do this now while I'm younger and well,
Will I be able to?
will I
enjoy
be
it?
able to later? And I think part of that comes from losing my mom at an early age, and you know, thinking about, I mean, if she could die at 42, I could die at 42.
Right.
Like nothing is
Right.
guaranteed. So it was kind of always a push for me to take care of my
out there.
family first. And I did. I raised my kids. My husband and I did. And man, this has been the biggest gift for us as a family, even though my family's not with me all the time, but me personally and professionally. Like, Like you said, I mean, it's like you can take on the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you
I
can
have
survive
grown
Yes.
so
Yes,
much.
so much.
And think about what you're showing your kids.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that was my
that's a
biggest
big
thing.
thing.
Yes.
Was
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mama, I had to leave for a little bit to work, but I came home every month and a half, and saw my kids
Yeah.
every.
And then you get to share those experiences with them and
Absolutely.
encourage them to like, boom, I want to
I mean,
want to
my
see
youngest
this.
was with me for 2 whole months this summer.
Oh,
She lived
wow.
with me, and we did everything
That's
together. We had the
amazing.
best time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to teach my girls that you can do anything.
Yes.
You don't need to rely on anyone. You can do it yourself. And that was the one thing my mom always told me, because she was miserable in her marriage and died unhappy. And that's a whole nother story. But, I swore that I was not going to be that way.
Yeah.
I was not.
And I'm sitting here with these ladies, and I have one son who's incredible, but these 3 girls right here are raising amazing, strong young women. Yes,
Oh, yes.
I'm so proud of them.
Yes.
Because that's what we need.
Yes.
We need to empower women.
Absolutely.
And these my 3 friends here are doing that.
Yes. This next generation of women are going to rule the world.
Yes.
Hell
Yes.
And we need it.
Yes,
We
do.
Yes,
need
we
it.
do.
Yeah.
We need kindness, love, and we need acceptance.
Yes.
And our
And
country is
compassion.
lacking that.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Well, respect for differences. We're okay.
Yes.
I'm okay that you're different from me. I'm okay that you
Yes.
may worship, who you worship and steal how you steal and love who you love. That has nothing to do with me. My job is to respect you and to treat you like
Yes.
a human being. I don't have to agree necessarily with everything that everybody does, but that's what makes it so wonderful, is that we're all different and we don't have to be one certain way. And I feel like our generation growing up, it was, for girls anyway, it was the prize was to marry a guy, and if you were wanted by a guy, that made you special, and you
become
had
a mama?
and you had to and become a mom. And I have no regrets about it. Babe, I don't regret marrying you, and I don't regret having my children. But as a 44-year-old woman now, I'm thankful that my daughters didn't repeat the same way. Talk and kid and said a lot.
Well,
But
yesterday, I was so just excited to have these conversations and hear how enlightened and how open these women are. That just, it gave me actually hope for the future. Kendall and I are like, oh, what's going to happen next year? And this trip has given me hope.
It's been so exciting.
And to be raising your children that way, it's given me hope. So thank you for that. And we've got 3 more days of adventures, so stay tuned. There's more to come.